Couple of problems from chapter 5, section 3, and I've written both of them down on the pad, but let's just look at them quickly. You'll see they're both problems involving cross multiplying to solve for an unknown. Here's the other one. And so let's look at the pad for a second, and we'll try to work both of these together. All right, so I've already kind of given you a hint about how I'm going to approach these. I'm simply going to use cross multiplying to solve for the unknown. Let's focus here, get a little clearer maybe. That helped a little bit, didn't it? So now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cross multiply 6.93 times 9.32, and I'm going to use my calculator to get that result. So here we go. So all I'm doing now is I'm just going to multiply simple multiplication on the calculator. I'm just going to say 6.93 times 9.32. 6.93 times 9.32. All righty, can you see that? And it gives me 64.5876. So I'm going to write that result over here, 64.5876. Now, I hope you're squirming a little bit because you're not going to let me get away with saying 64.5876, are you? So let's go ahead and name this thing. 64 and 5,876 what's? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So 64 and 5,876 10,000ths. Now let's multiply this t, and we're going to get 10.32 t. And so again, that's 10 and 32 hundredths t. How do I solve for t? Divide both sides by 10.32. So I'm going to divide this side by 10.32, and I'm going to divide this side by 10.32. So I retain that value in my calculator, so all I'm going to do now is just say divide 10.32. Divided by 10.32, and we should get an answer of, wow, notice, quite a string of decimals. So I think what I probably need to do is to go back and see what the instructions were, in terms of where to round this. So let's kind of go back to MathExcel and see what it wanted in the way of rounding instructions. Did it give us any? Let's see, what did it say? 4 decimal places. It wanted to round it to 4 decimal places. 4 decimal places. All right, so let's see, what would this thing round to 4 decimal places? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it wants it rounded 1, 2, 3, 4. So the value that's currently in that position is a 4. The value to the immediate right is an 8. So we know what we're going to put in, don't we? 6.2585. 6.2585. 6.2585. 6.2585. Or, want to say this with me? 6 and 2,585 what's? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. 6 and 2,585 10,000ths. So let's go ahead and put that in MathExcel and see if that's what MathExcel wanted. Ready? So looks like the student had it pretty close. Probably that last digit, that rounding is probably what was the confusion factor. So let's see, that's the final check. Okay, it liked it. Now before we do the calculation on the other one, let's see. This one says type an integer or a simplified fraction. All right, let's kind of go back to the pad and see what we got here. so let's do the other one that was in the set. Okay, so same cross multiply. So 1/4 times 32. What is 1/4 times 32? Well, it's 1/4 times 32, which equals 1/4 times 32 over 1, which is going to equal to what? 32 divided by 4, so it's going to equal to 8. And q times 8, or 8 times q, is going to be 8 times q is 8, divide both sides by 8, and I get that q is equal to 1 on this one. So let's put that in. I'm going to come back and just show you one other thing here. Let's put that in. And so q is equal to 1. And put in a 1 here, and we should get the right answer. Good job. All right, so both of those are done correctly now. Let's just look one other thing here while we're at it. Now, we had Math Excel to help us, and you say, well, how would you have done this if you had to verify it without Math Excel telling you that that was the right answer? Well, notice you could have, this one we had an answer of 1. So what would you have done here? You would have simply said, okay, let's check and see if that works. 8 divided by 1/4, does that equal to 32 divided by 1? So you know this side's 32, right? So this side now becomes 8 divided by 1/4, which is keep, change, flip, and you get 32. So 32 equals 32, so this one checked out. What about this one? Well, this one's a little more involved, right? So this is going to be 10.32 divided by 6.93. Is that equal to 9.32 divided by 6.2585? So let's let the calculator do the brain work for us here a little bit. So let's say 10.32 divided by 6.93 gives me, oh wow, look, 1.489177489. Okay, so can you remember that? Well, let's see what we get on the other side. We're going to have 9.32 divided by 6.2585, and that equals to, does that look like the same number we had? 1.489174722. I'm pretty sure it is. So how would you check it out otherwise? Well, you could cross multiply again to see again and see if it checks out. Up here, if I cross multiply it again, 1/4 times 32 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8. This one, 6.93 times 9.32. 6.93 times 9.32 gives me that result. And then, so that cross multiplying was 64.5876, 64.5876. Let's see what we get when we go that way. 10.32 times 6.2585 gives me 64.58772, and that's what I had, right? 64.58772. Did I do that right? So I got 64.58772. And what do we get that way? 6.93 times 9.32, and that was 64.5876. Okay, so we have a slight difference here, don't we? And probably the difference is because of the difference in the place values and the rounding that we did. Remember, we had to We had to round, you remember we had to round this? Remember we had a different value here when we did the rounding earlier. This was 6.25848, I think it was. So the rounding produced a little bit of a difference in the calculation. Right, so the rounding produced a little bit of a difference in the calculation. So I'll leave that with you to consider that, okay? And